a never-ending pulse, like an electronic pulse. So yeah, the Bible. Yeah, that's how one of the ways I figured out that we're gods, or that we're spiritual supreme beings, I call us, is that's what the Bible says. It says we go through that.
Well, sure. The Bible also says, and God said, "Let us create man in our image, our likeness." And if we were created in His image, His likeness, then we are like Him, which means we are gods.
Exactly. I mean, Jesus Himself said in John 10, He said, "You're gods." He said, your own scriptures have said, if the Word comes to you, then you're a God. In other words, once you get the realization of who you really are, then you're a child. You're a God, a child of God.
Let me ask you a very simple question. Why are we here?
Well, there's to me, in my theory on the eternal cycle, which is at loopmajors.com, there's an instinctive part. This is what I believe. There's an instinctive part or nature to existence, our collective spirit, before intelligence is created or evolved or unfolded. And from one standpoint, it's just the nature of energy to express itself in vibration to infinite realms and then back. In as many combinations as it can and back. On the consciousness realm, I believe that we go through this because we want to learn to know ourselves and love ourselves. So we do this over and over again. We go through, we learn who we are, we experience who we are in a reality, and then we love ourselves, we love everything else, and then we rest again. Kind of like the Vedas said, they personalize and say there's a supreme being that sleeps and wakes, but which I don't personalize it that way. But that's kind of the way I see the cycle on a consciousness end.
Okay, so
it's just like when you're a baby. A baby's a perfect example. When you start off as an infant, you don't know anything, and
right.
You have no ability. And then you learn to navigate, you learn to create, you develop intelligence, and you're programmed as to who you are, but still you decide who you are and you learn to love yourself,
So why is this so important to us? In today's society, with all the information that we need at our fingertips, I think we're suffering from information overload, but that's another show. Why do we need, or why are so many people now searching for answers that the questions have never been asked before?
I think it's just the natural evolution of things, because evolution. It usually involves speeding up, something being more complex and more mobile. Like I need an extra pot so I can move faster or whatever. And like to me, the information age is just showing how we're speeding things up so we can get to the end of the human period, the hominid period, and get deeper. And in order to do that, we have to move faster than we have in the past. So information's moving faster. It's all coming together like a giant puzzle, and we're going to have like a collective. That's who we are.
So I would imagine then that you believe that the current information age is an actual indication of our imminent evolution form from human identity to what?
To our identity as gods or spirits or conscious beings. I use the word supreme beings a lot because it's more shocking. Just like I call humans, I call them primates more, just because we need to be shocked into what we really are, where we've really been. But basically, we're conscious beings, and that's where it's leading us. I mean, even the internet, everything's instant now. You have instant communication. We're getting used to having those powers, and then we come into ourselves as conscious beings, as spirit beings. We'll be able to travel through our collective omnipresence, and that's what step 3 is. It's learning to be anywhere, do anything.
So basically you're talking about travel through thought?
If you want to call our collective essence thought, yeah. I mean, it seems like thought sometimes.
Have you...
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought, because I'm interested in what you were saying.
Yeah. I kind of see in the cycle, the energy goes through the cycle. You've got the energetic part of ourself, and you've got the awareness part of ourself. And just like in the East they all say, well, consciousness is just awareness, and in the West we say no, consciousness is doing something. So we're coming kind of together on those, and I see the energy evolves into beings, and the awareness it kind of evolves into mind. So, like, there's even some scientists now that have a theory that actually memory, the origin of memory, is kind of like a feedback loop. Even when we had no intelligence and we were just like maybe atomic particles or whatever, every emotion has kind of a feedback loop to it.
Oh, okay. And why is this important to us today?
What part of it? I'll talk myself back.
Well,
what? Oh, why is this the whole thing I'm bringing forth? Why is it important?
Yes.
Because our next evolutionary step is to learn to function and live as a conscious being in or out of these bodies. In other words, we've had estimated 130,000 years as Homo sapiens, and it's time for us to kind of leave the nest and fly.
But we have been evolving all this time. So how do you
define evolution?
So how do I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I appreciate what you're saying, but how do you prove your theory?
Well, I prove my theory by doing it, and teaching other people to do it. But we've been evolving in the sense of we've been developing intelligence so we can get smart enough to realize the truth, where we are, who we are, and what's really happening here. After that's a realization, then it's time to act on it and move into another form besides, like, when you do the exercises in my book, you don't actually go off into some kind of ascension or anything. You're still in your body. It's just you're not stuck just to your body. You can go in and out of the three dimensions. You can shift event streams. You can shift parallel universes.
Okay, so
it's a more complex experience of life. It's like eventually the internet's going to get boring, and cell phones are going to get boring. People, you can see from the internet age, people want a more complex, faster experience. Well, this is it.
You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by, Lou. Exonation Lou Majors is our guest this hour. We're talking to him about his new ebook, which is called Step 3, Our Multidimensional Transformation, which is available on Amazon.com. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-610-7035. Our email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV, and our main website is www.xzoneradiotv.com. I'll be back with Lou Majors on the other side of this news break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Lou Majors is our special guest this hour. We're talking to Lou about his newly released ebook entitled Step 3, Our Multidimensional Transformation, which is available on Amazon.com. Lou, tell me about the method that you teach in your book. How do people who have never had a near out-of-body experience learn to release themselves?
Okay, well, there's one specific chapter on, I give 6 exercises which can be done anywhere, anytime to begin. And in the past, there have been people like Robert Monroe, real pioneers of consciousness, that taught about leaving your body. And there's been Eckankar, there's different things like that, which kind of created a framework of the astral and all that stuff. What I teach people is basically your awareness is who you are. And I teach them how to move that. And at first, it seems more like a feeling, like expanding your presence. So right now you feel like you're in that body. You learn to expand and feel yourself as the whole room and then come back to your body, that sort of thing. And at first it's kind of a feeling of your presence, moving, changing, expanding, and then it develops into where you get the audio and visual parts where you're actually changing your perspective and you can experience that, full on.
What can a person do in this altered state?
Well, really, you've got just about anything. I mean, you've got in the cycle, in the eternal cycle, in the expression of existence, there's kind of the instinctive part, the 3D part where there's expansion, and that's kind of like the timepiece for existence, So you can basically you can shift event streams to pick an event stream that's more what you want to have. You can what else? And then multidimensionally, you can get outside of 3D, where really anything is possible. It's kind of like a dream state, except that there are other beings there, and you can co-create with them, play games with them, create universes. But that's really like high-level stuff. Like a lot of people, when they do these drugs like DMT and stuff, they just spontaneously get in these realms, and they're like babies going around, getting bumped around with no control, they can't navigate, and they're just, all over the place. Well, when you learn to move your perspective, you have more control, you can navigate, you learn how to get to different places by feeling or by thought, and that's the process.
But my question still is, why? Why would I want to do this? How can it help me in my present-day life? What can I learn from this? What can I gain from this?
Okay, well, let's talk about the 3 steps then. The first step, once you understand existence is a one unified field, one spirit, the first step, you realize everything happens in the now, and there's been plenty of teachings on this, like the power of now and be here now. You learn to be present. That's step 1, as you learn to be present, because that's where reality is. Step 2 is when you learn to adjust your energy to affect your personal experience. And, there's lots of things on that, too. Just like when I did the Napoleon Hill, my subconscious, I was trying to affect my personal experience, by changing what I expected. And there was a big thing on The Secret and the Law of Attraction, but basically what I believe